It's 3 o'clock. Cool. Where is my stuff? Paper. All right, it's 3 o'clock. Let's see what's going on. And nothing's going on with the group chat just yet. There we go. And people are entering the room. Let's see. What's going on, Chucks? Let's see. I can see you today. Yes, I've halfway figured this thing out for a second. Let's see. Let's go over here. Hey, what's up, Superman? This is funny. There are so many ways to get in there. Like I said, I'm going to wait a second to people roll in because, like I said, I'm learning. And Donica, the raised hand function does work. I see your hand or your digital hand. This is, I killed my blender today. I'm going to go ahead and get another one. So I wore it out. Chuck is talking. Oh, that's right. You can see that. Yeah, Chuck's talking smack about you. That's funny. Okay. Oh, that is too cool. You can do all that stuff. What's up? What's up? What's up? Today, as like I said, I'm waiting for people to come in the room because, people aren't on time. I shouldn't. If I went on time, they'd really be late. If you got a question about business, how to make money, how to build business, shoot. Let's see. Actually, yeah, there's some more in the kitchen. I'll just have to get it and serve it up to y'all. Chuck's, the S in my last name stands for success. Too funny. That's pretty funny. All right. The first thing we're going to talk about, and I'm going to explain some stuff, because I know a lot of people are paralyzed by making a mistake. There seems to be a big, big problem. So, mistakes are okay. Mistakes are something that's going to happen. Because I don't think that I have it, or do I? Let's see. I don't know if I still have it up. Let's see. I don't think I do. Well, let me check real quick. Yeah, I do. And I'm going to pop out of that, back to the screen share. Let me show you something. All right. This cover is screwed up. And it was screwed up, and I left it like this because this is not going to be the cover of the book once it's done. It's a placeholder. I just created something because when you're building a business, you're going to have bottlenecks. You're going to have issues. And my bottlenecks were, you're drinking that pink filthy stuff. Mine is green. Okay, there's some good stuff in here. There's a lot of good stuff in here. But the book has a mistake on it. And I didn't change it because I'm waiting on my cover guy to come with the other one. Now, I want you to look at this. Now, in the course, 30 days to $2,500, there's something that we call validation. What I'm doing is validating this product. like I said, that cover is not going to matter. And what many people are afraid of and take with the mistake is that somehow you are going to be forever tarnished. With family, that may be the case. Or if you kill someone, you may be the case. Or you're a rapist. Those things could be true. But if you go out in the world and you try something and it doesn't work out, you're not going to die. I mean, in the business world, I'm not talking about, jumping over canyons and stuff like that. But essentially, mistakes are not going to kill you. And this is something that's really, really cool. Since I started this program, and this is the goal is to put out 12 books because it's been driving me crazy. I have all these concepts, I got the stuff outlined, and my problem was my infrastructure. And that's what I'll talk about in 30 days, 2,500 bucks. So the infrastructure. I was faster than my team. And then, for anyone that wants to be a writer, is the writing is the easy part. Now that's going to sound strange. The writing is the easy part. It's all this other stuff that gets really complicated. Donica, real question. I guess a good problem to have is when you have more ideas than you can implement, how do you narrow down which ones to go after? Power 6. You go ahead and do an analysis. Okay, which of these ideas are going to get me the results that I want the fastest? They could be all good ideas. They all could be. But like you indicated, you only have so much time. So what I did was, how can I get this stuff going, validate it, and really make it a good and wonderful experience for everybody? Then it was just like, use the tribe. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with these books. First of all, the book's going to come out, and you'll be able to use the information in that book that's going to help you with whatever the subject matter is. Then we're going to do some webinars, and we're going to talk about the book, and you're going to ask questions that are going to come up out of the book. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to go back and I'm going to rearrange the book and put those questions and content in the book. Then, for those of you who get the book from Gumroad, when I make the new revisions and stuff, I'm just going to upload the new content, click a button, and you'll get everything. So everyone that's getting in now, as let me just go ahead and put this up here for a second, because I'm testing out new features. Everyone that's in now, you're going to get an incredible value because you're going to be part of an experience that other people will not be. You'll get to ask questions, you'll get to participate, and you'll get to talk to other people about this stuff, which is very, very cool. So that's how I pick up. The smoothie is a combination of bananas, strawberry, raspberries, and an apple. And I don't take, except for the banana, I don't take off the peel of the apple. That's good for roughage and stuff. But get out of there. Okay. Well, essentially, you can't allow the thought of making a mistake hold you back to the point where you don't do anything. And that's what's happening to a lot of people, because I see it all over the place. It's sad because making mistakes, you can be embarrassed. You can create a situation you don't like for yourself. It happens. But that time is going to pass, and people will forget. I'm going to say a name, and I'm going to look here in the comments, and I want you to tell me what he did. And just instantly, top of your head, don't Google it. David, we're the guinea pigs in G's lab. It's cool. We're on the bleeding edge. That's funny. I'm going to mention the name, Riley Cooper. What did he do? I'm looking. What did Riley Cooper do? See, that's what I'm talking about. Dude made a massive ass mistake. A lot of news coverage about it. And nobody's even thinking about it anymore. Let's see. I will go, before I answer the question, I will go over here to Q&A. See if anybody popped in. Nope. So we will go back to the cool people. We're doing both. Donica, I have no idea. Hector, question mark. Riley Cooper is the guy that said, I'm going to beat all the black people's asses at a concert, and they went all over the place. He's a wide receiver for, yeah, Taylor got it. He was a wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was supposed to be beat up. All the cornerbacks were going to crack his back. And, yeah, but he didn't get traded. Nothing bad happened to him. The Eagles actually had a good season. He did something real bad. And that's an extreme example to show you what happens. Now, if you're Donald Sterling, yeah, that's, and even with that, he's going to be forced to sell the team and gets hundreds of millions of dollars. Oh yeah, we're really punishing him. Just like Hector, I looked him up now. Remember, now that's the point I'm making. I want you to think about this. This guy did something heinous, right? Heinous. And most people forgot about it. So if you're thinking about you're going to make this mistake, and then Donica said, no one will remember Sterling phone's call next week. There'll be something else. I'm going to mention another name. And just to show you how fleeting these things are. You remember Farrah Fawcett died, right? When did she die? She died the same week Michael Jackson did. It was like Farrah Fawcett died, then Michael Jackson, and everybody forgot about Farrah. Let's see, Clinton. Don't big or real bad mistakes discredit us, make us look like fools, and lose possible investors? You heard of Michael Milken, right? He made some mistakes. He went to jail. When he came out, Ted Turner gave him $55 million. Big mistake. Went to jail, and he came out, and he still, yeah. No. As soon as he got out, but the whole point is, no. Ted gave him the money as soon as he got out of jail. And I only think he was in jail, yeah, Hector's like same day as Michael. Yeah, Farrah died, and people completely forgot. So the point I'm trying to make is, you make a mistake, something's going to come along. Now, there's going to be a group of people, your friends and your family, they'll remember forever. You know, like the time that you were like 2 years old and shit ran down your legs. They'll be bringing that up when you're 55 because that's who they still think you are. Tony's like, Farrah's dead. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know, she died the same day Michael did. This is what I'm talking about. The world is so big. There's so much stuff that's going on. You make a mistake, it's going to be quickly forgotten about by most people because something else is going to come on. Donica, no one remembers Donald Trump going bankrupt several times. He acts like he's never happened. Excuse me. I'll tell you something very fascinating about the Trump deal. The real Trump is, let's see. Let me look him up. I think it's Fred Trump. I'm going to be on point with this. Donald Trump's father is, let's see, Fred Trump. Okay, I was right. Fred Trump. If you do the research, and this is why in the book, you know, the 50 Laws of Hustling, you got to do your own work. If you do the research, Donald inherited like a fortune of, I believe at the time, 70 to 80 million. That's what Fred built, 70, 80 million. In the 70s, to give you context, in the 70s, you could buy a car brand new for $2,000. You could buy a house. You could buy a house for 12 grand. A house, or 15 or 20, a house. So 70 million was the equivalent to inheriting $1 billion today. How can you go wrong when you start out with $1 billion? See, the real hero of the Trump family is Fred Trump because he started the empire. And to Donald's credit, he didn't blow it all. David, 77 million. I knew it was like high 70s, but yeah. When you start looking at this stuff, and once again, and Donald Trump's another example of this mistake thing, like Donica pointed out. He's filed bankruptcy several times. This man, after filing bankruptcy several times, and it was just a gambit, he was thinking about running for president. No one was like, oh, you know, they didn't mention that stuff. It'd be okay to do a little balling with 77 million. And also, I want you to really think about the $77 million fortune that he inherited. He didn't just inherit $77 million of money. He inherited property that was producing income. Big stuff. But the whole thing is, don't be afraid to try, because like I said, I'll put this up again, because I think people don't understand that mistakes are not detrimental. Let's talk about detrimental mistakes. You kill someone. That's detrimental. And even with that, you've had families, and I don't know where they got this love from, that went ahead and forgave someone that murdered their loved one. Hug these people, prayed with them. Now that's a pretty big mistake, killing someone. Now if you kill someone, like, and it's just an accident, because the thing is, you hit someone, you only see the crime, and it's an accident, and you're not drinking, you have to deal with the grief and the angst of killing someone, but typically not much happens to you. Donica, the trick is you're never hurt by a mistake if you have a skill that gives you the ability to rebuild your empire. Chucks, do you believe any publicity is good publicity? I'm not sure with that, with the real negative. I'm going to say I agree with any publicity is good publicity to the tune of about 85%. I'm not going to say it's 100% true, 80 to 90%. I'll give you an example. Kim Kardashian. Now, a lot of people hate this woman, and she did this tape with Ray J. She built a $50 million empire because she didn't just do the tape and sell the tape, because someone else has some crack out, some other crap out there, some other sex tape. But she took her notoriety and leveraged to merchandise and products and events. And what she did is crazy, but she's worth like 50 million bucks. So it's not like, and the thing is, people talk about it, they hate her, they bring it up, and probably always follow her, but in the grand scheme of things, it didn't stop her life at all. She enhanced it. Hector says, listening to your webinars, I understand the concept of failing on a big scale. That explains why the coach of the Lakers, D'Antoni, still has a job. I'm going to talk about that. You make a really good point, because if you're going to fail, you should fail big. I mean, big, because going to California, if you're in Silicon Valley and you're in the coffee shop and you tell some group of guys that, hey, I started this startup and it went really, really bad, you could get a job, because in the Valley, they believe failure is an experience building process. Whereas many places, you fail, there's something wrong with you, you shouldn't go forward, stuff like that. But definitely, failing is not the end of you. Let's see. Oh, okay. This is really interesting. There's like 4 ways to answer questions. So let me look at this one. Hey, Glendon, been watching you for a while now. You've made a huge impact on my life in a positive way. Thank you. GGP Productions. I appreciate that, man. That's very cool. Thank you. This is Rake and Profit. What's going on, Glendon? Loving the live hangouts. Thanks. There will be more. And this is Louis. At least once a year, I mail the buyers out of myself. That's a good way to test your distribution system. I can see that. Now, another thing that I'm going to talk about, and this is since I'm live, is why I left resale, because that's a big, big question. Resale, and my resale background, several different fronts. Resale to me is when you buy something and sell it. Many people say resellers, that they're pickers, or they're storage auction people, or they flip stuff on Craigslist, which is a great way to make money. And I did it for a long time. Now, why did I leave it? When I wrote that first book, I found a new level of making money. The money wasn't as good, but the money was better because it is part of a principle that I've created. right now, we live in one of the greatest periods of time that I can think of in terms of technology. 2009, I started a publishing company, and within 14 months, I was supporting myself on the income of a publishing company, which was counter to a lot of the business knowledge that I had. That typically you start a business 2 or 3, 4 years before the money starts coming out. Now, because I was selling a digital product, I was able to create a situation where I was getting most of the profit. Essentially, I was the manufacturer, the internet was the distribution system, and I had a payment processor. So that there was no middleman really. There was just assistance, so to speak. And I became really, really intrigued with how far could I go with that, because one of the things that used to irk me about resale, you'll come across something fantastic. You sell it and you make good coin, and you can't find that shit anymore. It's just and that's one of the reasons that it sells for so much, because it's so rare. But I got really tired of that, and when I had the contract office furniture business, I became sick of being in debt every month. I mean, it was crazy. It was totally, totally, totally crazy. Sell some furniture, get on a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day net. 90-day net if they was generous, but usually the people I bought my stuff from was on a 30 or 60-day net. And typically around 45 days, if they hadn't heard from you, they start calling you. So it was like get money, pay money, get money, pay money. End of the year, it looked great, but it was just like I got tired of living in debt. I just seriously got tired of living in debt. I mean, that's how that company ran. And they made money, but it was very, very stressful. And which brought me to the storage auction business, which was the longest running business I've ever had. But it was a hard decision, but you can't serve two masters. When I finally made the decision, because I was kind of backsliding, because for a few years I kept flipping stuff on Craigslist. I would buy stuff off eBay and sell it on Craigslist. Then I stopped doing that because it's like, there's so many things to learn about this publishing business. And then when I stopped that, that's when things really enhanced. When things really enhanced, that's when the business began to get better, because I was living two lives. I was living a double life. I was a part-time reseller and I was doing this stuff, and I just had to let it go. And it took a long time for me to calm down, because I went by, I was somewhere and there was a storage auction going on. I said, oh, those people, what do they want? It didn't hit me, because for a long time I drive by and I was, oh God, there's a storage auction. The crack in head of me just came out, because it's hard to beat that high of getting something super cheap and selling it for a lot of money. It's very hard to let that go. But with my philosophy of being a producer, and the thing is, for those who didn't know, I was a lifelong reader. Oh God, I've read a lot of books. I was a member of, I was only male of a book club. I think there was like 15. At the height, I think there was 22 of us, and it just kind of petered down to about 8 before it fizzled out. But this book club went on about 12 or 14 years, somewhere like that. A lot of books, and I just loved the whole thing about publishing, and being an ardent book lover and loving the feel and texture of books. I knew ebooks were going to kill books, because we've got two things that are going on. We have a culture that's growing up with ebooks who don't read, so real books don't hold an appeal to these group of people. And I just looked at publishing, like Breaking Bad. No, Walking Dead was a graphic comic before it became that show. Don't know what happened with Breaking Bad, but a lot of the really good TV shows actually were books first, or a comic book or something. So, and for those who don't know, I write business books, but also do fiction, and I'm getting ready to do the philosophy books, which I'll share with you, and you'll begin to see a lot of stuff. But the thing is, when you write a book, you become immortal, and we live in a culture that all these barriers are breaking down. In a few years, everyone's probably on their phones going to have an app that's going to convert your text. Like, so if there's a book in Italian, you just translate, it'll be in English. When that happens, anyone that writes books in English is going to be exposed to roughly 3 billion people. And at that level, you make $1 on your book and you sell 1 billion copies. You're a billionaire. Let's see, Donica. So you would say knowing when to walk away from a business or a hustle is based more on personal feeling or preference, or is there a more logical way to know when to hang it up? For me, it was personal preference. Also, health concerns. I think it kind of has to go with where you want to be in your life, because in this book with the bad cover, which I'll put up, and like I said, I am not ashamed of this. I know, people's like, he should be ashamed. He should be terrified. Oh my God, he's unprofessional. Okay, this book, Crafting a Life in Intent and Design. I'm talking about all this stuff because the storage auction business was great. It was awesome. It was stupendous. But it was also a trap, because when the storage auctions happen, Monday through Friday, some Saturdays, when do they happen? Between 8 and 5. That's the only time you can get your inventory, so you had to show up. You could not control your time in that environment. You had to show up whenever they had the auctions. Then, once again, unless you ran the unit, you had to get the stuff out within 24, 72 hours. So I was making great money, but I didn't control my time. And there was times that, like, hey, I want to knock off, but I get a call from it. It's like, hey, you're coming to get this unit. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot about it. So I'm thinking I'm getting off at 7. I got to get in there before the gate closed, get the stuff loaded on the truck, and get out of there before 9, or I'm going to get locked in. And that has happened to me before, where the truck got locked in and I walked out the gate. So I didn't control my time. And there was another thing that was really important with this business, because it gives me the ability to control my time. Unless I'm doing a webinar where I have to be somewhere, my workflow is whatever way I want it to be. If I want to work in the morning and take the rest of the day off, I can. Couldn't do that with the storage auction business. So for me, the big deal was, I love freedom. Freedom is more important to me than money. It is way more important to me than money, because time is your most important resource. And if other people are controlling your time, or the situations or the sources are controlling your time, you're not free. And you can't be free. You have choices to a degree, but publishing gives me that freedom that I've never had before. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but it's also fun. I get to hang out with a lot of cool people, and writing that first book opened up so many doors for me. It's ridiculous. But when you want to for hustles will define themselves, because you'll see when the hustle's drying up. I feel sorry for people who are on eBay now, because they missed the good years. They missed the cheaper rates. They missed a lot of stuff that was cool, because they used to be in love with eBay. For me, eBay is a hustle, and I know there's a lot of people that make a lot of money. They love it. Go ahead, fine, you love it. But to me, you can't scale it. Because, once again, going back to the challenges of being in the storage auction business, you have to go out and get in your car and go out and get product. Here, I make product. I wake up, I go for a walk, I eat breakfast, then I make some product. It is very much to the core of one of the things that I've been preaching for a long time: be a producer versus a consumer. This is the purest form of producing. I am my own manufacturing plant. And I use a distribution system that costs me hardly any money. One of the biggest cost of goods is transportation. When the recession hit, when gas went up, I remember I was buying new furniture. It used to be, shipping freight was 6% of the cost. That shit went up to 21%. And gas, if you haven't noticed, it's going back up. I mean, premium's $4 in most places. So typically, you have to, I'm going to ask this question really clearly in a second. To know when to walk away from a business or an opportunity is going to be inherent on the goals and strategy that you created for your life. Like, I knew I liked freedom. When I got a taste of freedom, I was like, ooh, I'm not letting this go. I got approached by another production company. They were halfway serious about doing another show. When you do these shows, you're not free, because for those of you that don't know, a season of a show is filmed in 3 or 4 months. So you're compressing that whole season in just 3 or 4 months. So you're always gone. You're living out of your back. I don't like that stuff. I hate it. But if you have your life goals together, then it makes it easier to make decisions. Because say an opportunity comes your way, and your life goal is you want to be home every day for your kids, but this situation comes, and it's going to require you to travel 50% of the time. So you're like, okay, my life goal is I want to be home for the kids. This conflicts with life goal. Life goal is number 1. We don't take the opportunity. So it gives you a better perspective to make decisions, because you've already thought about the course you want your life to go on. Let's see. This is Nasheed. What are your views on trying multiple business ideas at the same time when you're starting out, Glendon? I think it's a bad idea. What you want to do is take one of those business ideas, devote most of your time to it until you actually find out if it's viable. If it's viable, you scale it up. Then you can hire someone to do the things you don't want to do. Then once it's automated, where it's delegated, where you don't have to show up, then you can do something else. But trying to run, because it kind of looks like I run several businesses, but I don't. I run a publishing company. I produce content. Content's video, content's books, content's ebooks, and audiobooks. Everything is course, is concentric with the main purpose of putting out content. So it looks like a lot of different things, but the core of it is putting out content. What do you think about other auctions like industrial, insurance, police as good or worse than storage auctions for flipping, making money with, I see great deals out there sometimes. Any auction that you can get good stuff super cheap is a great auction. Well, I don't care where it is. My first storage auction was on, God, what was that? Howell Mill Road next to Ellsworth Industrial. And the contents were industrial, and we made a lot of money. It's really not the item. It's not even the auction. It's who's there and how cheap can you get the stuff. Because if you go to an auction and there's no one there and you're getting everything for $1 bid, $2 bid, it's an amazing auction because you could clearly sell that stuff for more money. But if you go to an auction that has perfect stuff and it's awesome and everybody's bidding out the ass, your margins are just going, and the stuff is great. So it's really about how fast and how cheap you can acquire the product. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys and go over here. Comfort Zone Studios. Glennon, thank you for your shared wisdom and your valuable time spent making the people in the G-verse better. How much time should one spend in a given flea market before deciding to move on? I'm trying to at least give a year to give it a chance. Let's see, put that up there. This is what I would do, and I'm not really a good person to ask about flea markets because I hate them. I hate them because you have to get up early in the morning, like 3 or 4 o'clock, go out there, set up, and it's just not my thing. So I'm not good. I will give you, I did it. This is why I hate them. If your template should be based on if you're making money. Say there's 4 flea markets in the area. What you do is you spend a month at one, then you try the next one for a month, then you try the next one for a month, and you look at the money you made. Some may be better, some may not. Another thing you can do is have business cards and go out and buy some candy. Buy some candy, some cheap stuff you get at the dollar store, and create little bags. And it's like, hey, here's my business card and here's some candy. And ask them to sign up for your list, or you can get real old school, have a notepad and just say, hey, put your email address here, and when I get really good stuff, I'll let you know. And also give them a bag of candy or something, because you don't want to be dependent upon the flea market doing well or the crowd that shows up at the flea market. That's why I hated the flea market, because if it rained, you had a bad day. I've seen people lose loads that way because the weatherman said it wasn't going to rain. I mean, the weatherman's much better than he used to be, and it's just they lost all their stuff and they got rained out. So that's what I would do on the flea market deal. Let's see. Let's go back the Q&A and see if anybody's over here, because all the cool people are in the chat. It's funny. Okay, those are the answered questions. Like I said, I'm still playing around with this, and I'm going back and forth. It looks like tennis. And while you're answering, looking at questions, I'm going to just put that up there for anybody that wants it. But that's the reason I got out of it, because, I mean, you got to think about it. And I was talking to one of my friends last night, because, he said, you're the only one that I know that does the things you do. And I was like, what are you talking about? You work from home and you make really good money, and you don't have to get in traffic. And I really thought about that. And it made me change up my message and create some new products, because what I'm doing is kind of weird. I've got John, Chris, I've got about 12 friends who do this type of stuff. And I talk to them, it's all the same thing. It's like, people don't really, it's like people are like, what do you do for a living? they don't really grasp it. It's like like I've got voodoo or witchcraft or some stuff going on. And I just really thought about it. This is very, very unique to be able to sit at home under your own power and make money without employees or other stuff. It's very unique. So, and it's also fun because I get to hang out with the old people. When I go to a grocery store, there's no one in there. When I go to the gym, most times, like tonight, there'll be people in there because I'm going late. But I'm going there, there's nobody in there. It's just me and like two people sometimes, or the old guys, and I'm seeing a lot of older people working out, which I think is really cool. Let's see what's going on. Donica, we're definitely the cool kids. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about is being a producer. And it's a mindset. When you're a producer, you're looking to build and put out as much stuff as possible. Justin, would you ever consider utilizing affiliate marketers to create more traffic to your products? I've thought about it and I've gone back and forth because it's a great way to introduce more people, and I've seen people make great money. I'm still in the process of building this thing and defining this thing, so before I start doing something like that, I'm open to it. Like I said, I go back and forth on it, but I know it's a good business model. But the thing is, I look at it and it's right now it's something I still have to make a decision on. How did we see the other internet chat and questions? The questions are on my Google Plus page because it's like, hey, ask a question, and then there's it's just like it's over here. It's another, yeah, you have to go to the Google Plus page to answer the question. That's how you get in there. But like I said, most people are in the chat. That's where most people are. Oh, hold on. There we go. Most people over here in the chat. Hector, by the way, in my town, you have to apply and pay for a permit to have a yard sale, so I try not to do too many. You know why that happened? During the recession, so many people were hurting. They were having yard sales, and then they just kind of shut them down. David, can you talk a little bit about pimping Gumroad and thoughts now that you've been at it for a while? I absolutely love Gumroad. Gumroad gives me scale and flexibility like you wouldn't believe because, going back to, I'm going to play around with this. Going back to this book. Like I said, this book is going to actually have more content added to it. And there's going to be webinars, and I'm going to put together this bundle of the webinars in the book, and then everyone that comes in, I'll be able to ship it to you as it's built, developed, and whatever. I can't do that on any other platform as effortlessly as I can with Gumroad. One of the things that I think is, let's see, one of the things that with Gumroad is, and I actually get to talk to the CEO because he emails me every now and then, is I'm doing things that other people are not doing. So there's not a lot of information on it because I'm an internet marketer. That's what I do. There's evergreen and there's launches, and what most people do is they create a product, they create buzz, and they just talk about it, then they open it up, and then they make a lot of money in one night. I am more of the evergreen model where I make money every day. I don't make as much as they do, as quick as they do, but over time I'll make more. Let's see, hold on. Donica, you mentioned Fiverr. I've used Odesk once. And let's see, someone is asking for the link again. I will put it back up. But Gumroad they're very receptive to input. If you ask them something, they'll tell you or they'll make changes. I think it's one of the best things that I've ever come across in terms of the internet because what it is, this is a landing page. It's a payment processing system, and they give you 12 gigs to host stuff per item. 12 gigs per item. So if you are a filmmaker and you want to put a full featured film up there on Gumroad, you could do it and sell it. And if people don't want to download it, you can hit the streaming feature and they'll just stream to their device. It's an amazing platform. It really, really is. All right, so I'll go over here and see if anybody's asking questions. I think everyone came over to hang out with the cool kids. I believe so. Yeah, there's nothing over there. There's nothing there. So we'll go back to the chat. I'll stay here for a minute. Then, with being a producer, it's a whole different mindset. You even walk differently. You look at the world differently, and you look at opportunities differently because when this is going to be controversial, but most people have been manipulated into being consumers. Because how many times have you ever bought something that you didn't want? Marketing is very, very powerful. There are many times, like I give you a grand example of marketing. You go to McDonald's, right, or Wendy's or any of these places, and they have the biggie size or the super size. You actually don't need that much food. And it's actually a little bit more money. But because they've already factored in the economies of scale and they've created this message that by paying more, you get more, and a lot of people go for it. Because if you really think about it, if you've ever been to Europe, you'll see the portions of the food over Europe are totally different than portions over here. Because you'd be like, what? Who gave me this kid's meal? I mean, it's totally different. Nasheed, I'm working on a product here in the UK. I love this international love. We got people from all over the world in the G-verse. And I've hit a crossword where the product can be produced for cheap abroad, but the quality is lacking. However, I can manufacture a higher quality version in the UK. So when I ask, what's your opinion on price point versus quality? What is the difference between the price of producing it in the UK and that other place? Because if you produce it in another place, you still got to import it wherever you're going. Have you added that cost there? Because you may not be really saving any money once you factor in VAT, import costs, and all this other stuff, because there's something that's happening in America and many people don't know it. Because the other parts of the world have become so expensive for manufacturing, many manufacturing jobs are coming back to the United States because there is no cost efficiency advantage of producing in China anymore for a lot of people. And also China has a lot of regulatory environmental issues, and companies are like, hey, we're going to produce this widget for $5, or we go to the United States and produce it for $5.25, and we don't have the regulatory issues, we're going back. Tony, UK in the house. Chocolate Brothers get around. That was funny. There's a guy that was here last time. He's actually in China. Well, before I changed the platform, he's actually in China. We have people in Australia, the Eastern Bloc of Europe, the UK. Folks are getting around. But yeah, that's something that I'm going to talk about in depth because I'm working on producing a physical product, but I'm playing around with it. It's still, everything right now is in beta mode because the more experiences that you gain, the better information that you're going to have. And that's why, when I started this off, like, making mistakes is not a bad thing. Many people are just, oh God, I made a mistake and they're going to take my firstborn. No, they're not. No, they're not. But any question about business, because like I said, I'm going to structure, like right now, this is new platform, playing around with it, having fun. And there will be more stuff because I haven't decided if I'm going to do this Friday or not, but I will definitely be back next Monday and Wednesday. And I'm probably going to play around with a morning session because I have done webinars for pretty much since 2010, and the greatest attendance that I ever received at a webinar was in the middle of the day. So we're going to try that. Chocolate travel as well. Y'all are cracking me up. So while y'all are doing that, I'm going to hit you with this, and I'm going to talk about it. This starts Monday, and yeah, there's going to be two things going on Monday. This is I think I'll probably do the morning session Monday. I'm going to play around with that. My email list should be back up and running tonight or tomorrow, so everyone that's on it, you'll get the information. But with this whole process, like I said, playing around, I see this being able to be something bigger than I originally thought. Because, just to give you an update, YouTube is one of the most powerful platforms on the planet in terms of getting exposure. It's hard to beat. And many people, when they think of YouTube and making money, they think of AdSense. And there's so many other ways to make money, and we'll talk about them. And I think someone just asked a question. Salutes to Tony. Y'all are cracking me up. When you shut down your storage auction business, how long will it take you to dissolve your inventory? 6 months. It was a long time, and I wasn't feeling good either. Yes, I'm still drinking the nasty pink stuff. No, this didn't actually. No, none of this. Going forward, I actually got rid of a lot of clothes that I got out of units and wore them out. This came from Old Navy. Old Navy is a great place to buy really quirky T-shirts. They have a lot of them. Tony, I'm reselling, would like to concentrate on one area, but money is tight and I'm shotgunning it at the moment. Better to specialize now or what? This answer is going to pretty much shock you. It's better to specialize. You've already said that you've got a limited budget. And the shotgunning thing is you're kind of like looking for what works, right? This is what you do. You go to eBay or you go to YouTube and watch a bunch of videos and people tell you what's hot, right? And instead of guessing, just buy some that you know is going to sell and build up your war chest. Chuck, gee, how do you find the right people to partner with, like-minded and won't screw you? In other words, work toward a common goal. I've only had one partner, and I knew her very well. So I don't know if I'm really qualified to answer that question. I've not had a lot of partnerships. So that's something that I may have to answer in the future. Donald, why are you going, damn, 6 months? What are you talking about? It was a 10,000 square foot warehouse, and there was another one. It was a lot of shit. Hector, you spoke about in the past doing the meetup in London. Ever thought about doing in-person seminars? Yep, I have. I thought about it tremendously. Chuck is like, Hector, he's working towards that right now. Oh yeah, this is funny. This is funny. I'm in the process of branding Conundrum Media, and there's another thing I'm working on called Spankable Productions. I know it's a crazy ass name, but I like it. And this is the year of really fleshing this out and owning the publishing company. Damn the sheet. If you wouldn't invite them to your house, don't do business with them. I mean, that's a good starting place. Oh, you know this watch? I'm gonna tell you. You know where I got this watch? I got it on eBay, for $50. Somebody, and this watch is selling for like 350, 350, $400 on Amazon. Somebody put this watch brand new on eBay at a 99-cent bid, and I stalked it like a hawk. I went in, I put in 2 bids, really short ones, because I knew that at the end, if there was a good one, they would drool over it, as you said, people would lose it. And I went in and got it at I waited. I didn't even use the sniping software. I waited and actually got it. Yeah, that's gonna be the new brand. I'll talk about that later in the groups. I'm damned the 6 months because I'm at a point where I'm moving from a house and I own to an apartment, and a point to think about shutting my resale business down and going with another venture that doesn't need as much space. Okay, let's give you the right context for that. There was enough stuff in those warehouses to probably fill up 40 houses, 40, maybe 50 houses. There was a lot of stuff, so I don't think you're going to have that problem. If you're moving, you could probably liquidate in a week. You probably liquidate in a week. I don't think it would be that onerous. Dave is making a joke. Yeah, the eBay Valet thing is not working out. I'm hearing there's a lot of problems with that and the global shipping program. But I don't sell on eBay, so I really don't know. And that's another thing that I don't miss because I don't have to ship out stuff. If you've ever had a night where you sold 100 things in one night, it takes you damn near 3-4 days to get all that stuff packaged up and shipped. We try so many things, pre-packaging stuff. Then they would buy 2 or 3. I mean, it was just it's a lot of freaking work. Anyone that's super successful on eBay, my hat's off to you because I know you're working your ass off. A super yard sale. All right, I'm gonna play around with the poll question. Who So I'm gonna send this out. It'll be like yes, it'll be like no. So here's a poll, so you can vote on that. eBay and PayPal are my friends. Download advertise going out of business, sale or liquidation, put stuff outside with huge signs, selling bulk to smaller reseller. Good luck. Yeah, just blow it out. Just seriously blow it out. People are voting. This is awesome. I'm loving this platform. So put that up there. But essentially, there's a lot of stuff that I'm working on. But I have a personal goal for these books this year. It's something I really want to do. So if anything happens live, it'll probably happen after that. But don't ever say never. Uh, I guess the poll is. I suppose if you're in the chat area, you can see the poll because I'm on this side. I can't see it. People are answering it so folks can find it. I've got friends who've done live events, so I know it's a lot of work to do it right, so that's why. Okay, it's a pop-up. But see, the thing is, you've got people who are coming in from different places. You've got some folks who came in through YouTube. You have some folks who are coming in from their Google Plus page. And speaking of that, let me go over here. There is something. Raking Profit. I've been loving Gumroad too. It's a terrific platform. It's very intuitive, and they keep making it better. Because I think starting this week, you get weekly payouts versus bi-monthly. Yep, pop up. Justin, with the increasing value of traditional education, you think programs started by the little guys, especially online programs like yours, could begin to become mainstream alternatives to secondary education? What I believe is going to happen, and that's a great question, Justin Morgan, is people are going to be forced to do certain things like this because we're entering a situation where, like I talked about last time, I've talked to nurses. I've talked to nurses about this. You can have a BSN from the best nursing school in the country, 4-point GPA. If you have no experience, they're not hiring you. And that's a nurse. That field, medical field, is being disrupted. So I do believe that people are going to have to go back to vocational things. They're going to have to go to People, and that's what, yes, I do believe that, because that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this, because in my mind, I have this 5 to 7 year window, which gives me plenty of time to build this, because you're going to have people who never started a business, and everyone thinks they can figure this stuff out. I will just tell you straight up, when I started paying for my education, I started making more money. You can get mentors. Some people get lucky. They'll get this guy who will take them under the wing, who's a financial or business genius. It happens. But for me, I started, lead the field. When I bought that, it was $100. I was making $200 a week when I bought that. I spent half a week's salary on some audio tapes. That was a very big purchase back then. I went to this seminar that was like $1,500. I, you know, I realized that I have limitations and I need help. There are some people who feel that they're going to figure it out. If your life isn't where you want it to be today, in 6 months it's not where you want it to be, in a year it's not where you want it to be, you're not figuring shit out. You're not figuring shit out. You just hit me up on Facebook about that. I'll have to experiment with this some more, because, like I said, people are coming in from different places, and I think that's why some folks are seeing the pop-ups and not, because so far 11 people have seen the poll. 10 would go to a live event, and one's like, hell no. He or she said hell no. It doesn't give your identity, or I would come find you. I mean, you're going to have to pay for your education, either in time or spending your own money. There's really no way that you're going to get a truly free education. It's not happening. Justin, this is from Chuck's. Oh, I don't have to say this. You can see this. I don't have to read this. Uh, yeah, people are definitely getting into the poll. And I'll ask him more questions and stuff like this, because, like I said, I'll definitely be back Monday and Wednesday. Once again, the email thing should be straightened out, and I'll email everybody. And Monday probably is going to be a double duty day. I already know that, and so I'm gearing up mentally for that. A lot of stuff's going down. Lots of stuff. And let's put this up there. All right, so it's like 3:58. If you got any more questions, just shoot. And if I do this Friday, I will let everyone know. Everyone that's in Hustlers University, you already know the deal. I'll just post that there. Very cool. Very cool. So I see the chat room is getting live. All right, with that, I'm going to shut this puppy down, and I'll let you know about Friday, because today is Wednesday. Yes, I'll let you know. And this thing will be a little bit more structured and stuff, and other things I'll talk about. Because right now I'm just playing around with the new technology, just putting stuff out there. It was Cuba. Essentially, the deal is you go to Cuba and something happens, they're not coming to get your ass. But you can go if you go out through another country. Okay. I see people are. Huh, this is rolling. All right, cool. Yeah, like I said, there will be more. There'll be other recommendations and stuff. I kind of had to move my office around. Yesterday was like a trip, and I will have other stuff. Now, Cuba. I didn't go that way. I didn't go that way. Joe, just hit me up on Facebook. because I can't really get into that one right now without losing people. So before I part, yeah, I'll get drinks for people. I'll even have a barbecue. That would be cool to do a webinar doing a barbecue. I think that would be freaking awesome. All right, with that, this is Glendon, and I'll see you on the good side.